There is a staggering statistic out there, and it is that 85% of the workforce today is dissatisfied with their careers. To be more precise, 60% of today's workforce feels emotionally detached, and 19% downright feels miserable. So, what is happening, and why are we continuing to live this way? And why aren't we stepping into our power? Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Expanding Together. I'm Vicky, your host, and I am here to help teach busy high achievers how to gain clarity and stuckness and overwhelm, stop anxiety to help you live with true confidence, joy, fulfillment, and inner peace. Today's episode is going to be all about the self-discovery journey, and more importantly, how to find deep satisfaction in your life, in every aspect of your life. But today we're going to especially focus on pursuing your passions as your career, as the source of your income. So there is a staggering statistic out there, and it is that 85% of the workforce today is dissatisfied with their careers. To be more precise, 60% of today's workforce feels emotionally detached, and 19% downright feels miserable. So, what is happening, and why are we continuing to live this way? And why aren't we stepping into our power? But here's the thing, so many people feel completely lost and overwhelmed, stuck, disempowered, and just like all you have to do is just accept what is given to you and just go to work and use it to make an income. And that is the only path towards your ability to support yourself financially. But here's the thing, I've been exactly where you are right now. I've been stuck, I've been miserable, I've been overwhelmed. I have been, feeling so lost in terms of what life do I want to live. And a couple of years back, I really went on a very deep self-discovery journey. As many of you have heard, I fell into a very very squishy time in my life during COVID, where I really needed to go and introspect and ask myself the question of, hey, who are you, Vicky? How do you want to wake up and feel in the morning? What is your ideal day look and feel like? And these are not questions that I used to ask myself in the past. And so as part of that, I went on a inner self-discovery journey where I introspected on three very basic but very profound questions. And in this episode today, I'm going to teach you the questions that I went through and this Japanese method that I used in order for me to really do the inner introspection that gave me a lot of the answers for where I wanted to live and how I wanted to change my life, and the difference that it has made in my life, and why I've been able to turn my life around. And lastly, I will give you some tips around how to take action on stepping into the life that you want to live. So let's start with the very basic questions that I had to go through. So just to give you a little bit of perspective, today I work as an executive, as a leader in an organization. But part of my journey had been that it took me almost 20 years to step into a leadership role. And the question becomes, well, why, right? I was always very talented. I always got the highest ratings at work. I tended to get along really well with people. But the thing is, I never really knew what my strengths were or what my weaknesses were. What is it that I should focus on in terms of, what I should be amplifying about myself. And really, I never asked myself beyond the question of, well, I like marketing, I like product management. I never really asked myself the questions of, what do I want my work life to feel like? And when I started to lean into that question, when I started to ask myself the question, how do I want to feel when I wake up? What kind of people do I want to be surrounded with? What kind of life do I want to live? What came to me is that I really wanted to, number one, work with very smart, but very nice people. What I had learned from my experiences is that I really didn't do very well in cutthroat cultures. So I was not somebody who was going to walk over dead bodies in order for me to succeed. I knew that I realized that I was not that person and that I don't thrive in environments like that. The other thing that I also realized is that I really don't like being stuck in the minutia of things. I don't like sitting and doing the copying and pasting and looking at every single detail of things. The places where I thrive is it's when I'm being creative. It's when I get the opportunity to come up with different ideas. It's when I get to do a lot of different things. So I call myself a hybrid. And what I mean by that is I have experiences in digital marketing and in digital product management. Now, both, have the commonality of being very customer centric, being in a role that is very customer centric, human centric. And that is something that I thrived in and was extremely passionate about. So I knew that whatever I wanted to do or whatever my next move in my career would be, would revolve around customer centricity. The other thing I also learned about myself is that I am much better when I am in a leadership role and when I get to work on strategies and be a strategic, intentional thinker rather than when I'm being given the details and really just working through the details. I'm much better when I am coming up with the ideas versus having to follow somebody else's ideas. So these are things that I just really had to introspect and learn about myself. The other thing that I also figured out is that I didn't want to be in the office 5 days a week. I just didn't. I was in a different place in my life. I have two kids, and I knew that I would thrive in an environment where it was a hybrid, where I get part of the time I get to work with people, face to face, and I absolutely thrive being around people. But at the same time, I also needed a job where I could be there for my kids and could really have the balance. And I don't even want to call it balance, but have the flexibility to lean into my work when I needed to lean into my work and have the flexibility to lean into my personal life, be there for my kids in the mornings, in the evenings, and be around them. So these are things that were just really important to me. And had I not gone on a self-inquiry journey, I would have never really figured out those things. And the way that I introspected is by asking these three questions that you see in front of you. So the very first question that I asked of myself when I was thinking about my next career move or what is it that I wanted to do with my life was, well, what is it that I'm good at? What am I good at? So I knew I was good at people management. I knew I was good at coming up with creative ideas. I knew that I was really good at connecting the dots in the organization. I knew I was really good at creativity and I thrived in brainstorming. I thrived in places where I could really bring dynamic thinking. I also knew that I would thrive in an environment where there is psychological safety to just, push the boundaries a little bit, ask the difficult questions, and have the psychological safety to have a team that would say, like, hey, this is a crazy idea, but let's explore it. Or, hey, that's a really interesting lens. What do we all think about that, right? It's not about being right, it's about being safe. It's about feeling safe to ask the more difficult questions in the room, right? So what am I good at? I'm good at being curious, at connecting the dots, at challenging the status quo, at people leadership, at being strategic, at being creative, right? And I took a grid and I literally asked myself this question and I wrote it all out. Then the other question I asked was, well, what do I love doing, right? There are things that you're good at. Like I'm really good at finance, right? I'm really good. Like I have a spreadsheet that I can literally be a ninja in a spreadsheet to do my personal finances. I am very, I know down to the minute detail everything that's happening with my money. Where is it invested? How is it performing? What's my outflow? What's my inflow? I am extremely good at that. But do I really want to do that for a living? No. Right. So I had to ask myself the question of, well, what do I love doing? And what I love doing are all the things that I've already mentioned, right? So the people aspect, the strategy, the creativity, the all of that. So I put into my column, what are the things that I'm good at? But then what are the things that I love to do? And some things that you might love doing are not maybe things that you're already doing at work. Put that in that column. And then I asked myself the third question of, what do I want to not do? There is this really interesting concept where, we always say, oh, you got to say yes to life and you got to embrace life and say yes to things, right? And yes, that is all very important. But here's the thing, your no is sometimes more powerful than your yes in life. Now, I'll give you an example. About a year and a half ago, I took on a new job and I really love my new job. I love the people I work with. I love the work that I'm doing. I'm really passionate about it. I'm in a really, really great place in my career. And there was a company that came along as I was working, and they were extremely interested in recruiting me. And they were willing to double my compensation. But with that came moving to a different state, starting a new job, and probably longer hours that wouldn't allow me to have the kind of flexibility that I was looking for. And it was a really interesting moment in my life where I needed to ask myself the question of, well, what's more important to me right now at this juncture in my life, right? Is it double the money? Is it yet another step up in my career because, it was an even higher level role that I was at right now? Or do I stay where I am? And do I stay in a place where I absolutely love the people, love the culture, love what I'm doing, love my team, and really love the life that I'm able to live? And I decided to say no. I decided to say no to that because my no was more powerful for me for the life that I wanted to live than my yes would have been. The other example of my no's in life is, at the beginning when I just started doing life coaching and leadership coaching, I was just so excited to just get a client that I would just say, yep, yes, I want to work with you. If you want to work with me, I want to work with you. It's just like, that first employer that comes and gives you a job. You don't care who you're working for. You don't care who you're working with. You're just so excited to get a paycheck, right? And so I was very much in that state. And interestingly enough, I have gotten to a point where I'm now only working with leadership and coaching and life coaching clients that inspire me. Because now, while I want to be there to guide people and I want to be of service, of course, right? I also want to work with people that inspire me, that are really in their passion state, that are really doing things and getting out of the squishiness, that are having the courage and the curiosity to examine what is happening for them in their inner world. And so I've become choosy and become very selective in terms of even the coaching clients that I've started to work with. My no's, the no that I'm saying in this life, is becoming even more effective and powerful than my yeses. Because the no is where I'm drawing the boundaries for, like, what life do I want to live and what is authentic to the real me. So, as you go on the self-inquiry and as you think about what is making you miserable, what is making you unhappy, what does happiness look and feel like to you? Ask yourself these questions. What am I good at? What do I love to do? Because they're not synonymous. And then what do I say no to? Now, here's an interesting framework that I want to share with you, and it's called the Ikigai method. And what the Ikigai method is, as you can see, this is a Venn diagram. And the Ikigai method, it gets you at even closer towards, finding that happy space in your life, that space of fulfillment, where you have a sense of purpose in life, where you're motivated, but you're also able to get compensated for it, right? Because not everything that perhaps you're good at or everything that you're motivated by, you can get paid for, because there has to be a pain point in this world that you're solving for in order for you to actually start to extract the value from the world and to start getting paid for it. So this is a really beautiful, beautiful and deep method that you should take the time with and take a look at. Again, what do you love? As you can see in this concentric circle, sorry, what is it that you're good at, right? Do those questions ring a bell, right? Those are the questions that I was asking myself. The other question, though, that needs to become part of your method as you go and introspect is what the world needs and what can you be paid for in this world, right? So there is this theory that, if you want to make money, you can literally go out in this world, bake cupcakes, and make money that way, right? Because why? Because people love cupcakes. What do people need? They want more sugar. They want some kind of like enjoyment, momentary enjoyment, and people will pay you $1, $2, $3, depending on how amazing your cupcakes are. They will pay you for it. But then the question becomes, is this what you love doing? And is this what you want to do? Right? So there are certain examples in this world where you really need to go through and identify, what is that intersection of all of those different pieces where you love doing something, you're really great at it, the world needs it, and they're willing to pay you for it. So this is the Ikigai method that can help you find that purposeful work in your life that you're motivated by, but equally important that you can get paid for doing. And then lastly, how do you go about even doing that? Because a lot of times we don't even know what we want to do, right? That's the other question. It's like, well, what the hell do I want to do? What do I love to do? One of the best things that you can do is you should start reaching out to people in your life. There's this power of the human connection. Reach out. You can say like, oh, but I don't know anybody. No, you do. You absolutely do. You have friends, you have family, you should be on LinkedIn. Just start reaching out to people and just ask them and ask them, hey, can I have 10, 15, 20 minutes of your time? I really want to learn about your journey. I want to learn about where you've been. How did you get to where you are right now? Look for people who seem happy in their professions, who seem accomplished. Look for the people who have done the very thing that you want to do. Look for people in their life that are in a place in their life where you want to be. Those are the people that you want to learn from. Don't be afraid of sending somebody a note. You would be amazed at the kindness of the human world. I get so many inquiries like that on LinkedIn. And when I feel the sincerity in the energy and the question and the note that comes through to me, very oftentimes I will take the 10 or the 15 minutes to talk to somebody and to ask them questions and to answer their questions about, their life's journey, their career journey, how they got to where they are. And then lastly, don't be afraid to ask to make a connection. It's totally fine. But here's the one big miss that I always notice, especially in the younger people who reach out to me. They will reach out to me, they will get all the information that they're looking for, they will thank me profusely, but they never ever offer up if there's anything that they can do for me. And here's the thing, it's not about whether I need something from them or not, but it is nice to have that relationship of reciprocity. Because when you reciprocate, you go from having a transactional conversation to building a relationship. And that is what you want to do, is you want to build a relationship in your life, because life is about human connection. This is still a human-centric economy. So I encourage you, if you're unhappy in any way, whether it's in your personal life or in your professional life, go through that inner introspection, talk to people, get on that journey of self-discovery, give yourself 6 months to a year to really figure it out. Be kind to yourself, but also take the time to invest in you. Now, if you're interested in working with me as a transformational leadership or life coaching client, you can absolutely reach out to me. Let me know what it is that you're interested in working on. And we can set up a discovery call and we can figure out, am I the right coach for you? And are you the right client to be working with me? I would be honored to work with you if we are a mutual match. So I hope that you have found this to be helpful. Absolutely take the time to introspect. This is the best way for you to discover yourself and to really put yourself on that path towards happiness and fulfillment. I send you so much love, so much light. I am so excited to see what is happening for you. And please make sure to comment, subscribe, and to share this episode with your friends, family, and anybody who you think might benefit from it. Sending you so much love. Have an amazing day. Bye.